Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to chat with you guys about something that I don't hear very many people talking about, and I think it's something that really needs to be addressed. I'm going to get right into it. Of course, I got to take you back to the 1970s. You know how you hear people say the good old days. Well, then some folks say, hey, there's nothing good about the good old days. But I do have a lot of fabulous memories from the 1970s, the heart of the 70s. I would say 1970 to 1976. I just have so many great memories. And I thought about people nowadays. There's so many folks that are struggling in so many different areas in their life. Not just financially, but maybe from just simply being lonely. And I thought about how I grew up, where all the neighbors knew each other. And it was just a fabulous, wonderful support network. And I'm going to give you just a few examples of it. I remember growing up that all the ladies in the neighborhood, and this is before the women started going back to work, okay? I grew up in a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota. That was where I grew up most of my life. And the ladies would come over in the afternoon and they'd sit around and chat. They might talk about things that frustrated with them. And they would have coffee over at my mom's house and they might have a little snack with it. And it was just really lovely. And then everybody would go home and start fixing supper for their families. And it was just a lovely time, but you had people that you could talk to. And I remember my dad, maybe on weekends, maybe the guy next door was having trouble fixing his car, and my dad would go over there to help, or my dad was trying to repair something, so another neighbor came over and helped, and then you'd have all the guys over trying to kind of troubleshoot and fix things. So you have people you would go to, maybe a next door neighbor, and this is another example. Shoveling snow was no easy thing to do back then. And so my dad might help shovel an elderly neighbor's snow, things like that. I mean, there were just so many ways that we all helped each other. Maybe somebody grew out of clothes, so, oh, my Linda, grew out of that size. Let me give Dawn some of these clothes. Things like that. So you would just help each other with food. I remember my mom went out of town. We had a next door neighbor that would babysit and watch us until my mother came back, from out of town, because it was during school time when she did go. But I just remember that everybody was there. We'd meet at each other's homes. We would talk, we would visit. We'd have somebody to share our burdens with, about anything. We would have a lot of social activities. My mother would say, give me a jingle, and she'd get on the phone and talk. Nowadays, at least I know I feel this way, I really try to be good at respecting people's boundaries. But sometimes I even feel bad to maybe call someone because I think, oh, they might be busy. Oh, I don't want to bother them. I'm always worried I might be a burden to somebody. And I do think it's partly because of technology, which there's a lot of good things about technology. But I remember when texting first came out, I saw somebody post on Facebook and they said something like, don't call me, text me. I don't like talking on the phone. So many times nowadays people don't really want to chat on the phone. And I do understand some of that because we can all get someone that likes to talk on the phone that's hard to get off the phone. So I do understand. But I think there's so many lonely people out there. And, I know that I'm busy. A lot of people are busy. But when I used to go grocery shopping, you'd see people kind of leisurely shop and relax. Now, when I'm at stores, I see people kind of run in and out. And they don't have time to talk to anyone. And just everybody's kind of in a rush. They just simply don't have time to call people. Oh, they don't want to talk to this person or that person. And they're simply just so busy with work, everyday life. I'm not even sure what, because, I'm not walking in their shoes. But I think there's so many folks that they don't feel like they have someone to talk to. And it also got me thinking about the blue zones. In the blue zones, there was this woman that had never gotten married. And she was older. I mean, I think at this time she was in her 90s. And she had become ill. Now, she did actually get better. But guess what? They had community there where they all kind of chipped in and they helped each other. And I thought, would that not just be wonderful? And I was also speaking to one of my mystery shoppers the other day, and she said, wow, that would be great. She is caregiving her mom, who they have a very close relationship. But when she leaves, she can only leave for a couple hours. And I said, and then we started kind of talking about this topic, which was why I came up with this video idea, I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if maybe I live next door to you and your mom had my number and maybe I go over and give her lunch or sit and visit with her for a little bit. Yes, I know I'm busy, but people can take a little bit of time, you know, doing things. Or she at least had my number, so if she needed me. And I actually did that for a while. I had a neighbor that her mother was, you know, by herself part of the day, and they had my phone number and they knew that I worked from home. And, you know, and her mother never did call me, but I said, here's my number. If your mom needs something, have her call me. I'm right next door and I can go right over there. And just things like that. It just kind of got me thinking about how I would love if there was more of a sense of community. Now, I do see some real sense of community on this channel. I have to tell you, and I want to compliment you. I know I'm going to go over the 5 minutes, guys, but I really feel led to talk about this topic today. And I've seen a real sense of community just on this channel. I mean, 99.9% of the comments are very growth-minded, extremely encouraging. I see some people talking about things. I see a lot of empathy. I see fabulous suggestions and ideas. And I love that. I mean, I really always wanted to foster some really positive comments, but what I call helpful comments where people can reach out. I know we all don't know each other. It'd be wonderful if we could have a sensible living with Money Mom town where we all live together and we could help one another, because we each have something to bring to the table. We each have skills and gifts that we can bring, and they may be all very different. And that's kind of what our neighborhood was like growing up in the 70s. It was like, you know, my mother, for example, was good at cooking and baking. She was good at, you know, helping clean. My mother loved to iron. She was really good at ironing, and she would help other people iron. She also was a hairdresser before she adopted my sister and myself. And so she would help do ladies' hair in the neighborhood so they didn't have to go pay for a haircut, things like that. And, you know, those were some of the skills she had. And another neighbor was really good at mending, and my mother really didn't enjoy sewing and mending and doing crafts, so that neighbor did that. And so I just think it would be wonderful if we kind of could start to create, and maybe some of you live in an area like this where everyone there supports each other. Because right now, I think so many people feel all alone, and they feel like they have a sense of hopelessness, like they don't have any choices. Now, I know you may say, well, you know what, Money Mom, they just need to start reaching out to someone. But it may be a challenge because they don't even know where to start. And I know that that can get really frightening and lonely for some people. And that's why I feel like this channel is so important, because I do want this to be a safe haven and a place where we can encourage one another and hopefully give everyone some encouragement, hope, and joy in their day and also their future. But I sure would love to bring a sense of community back here on YouTube, on the Frugal channels, and also in our own personal lives as well. And that's something that I may be working on. That's all I have to say for now. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. I always love to hear from you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I sure hope you come back for tomorrow morning's video. Bye-bye.